Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I'm your host BlackTuna and today I want to take you back to 2012-2013. Hell yes, because today I want to talk to you about Cube World. It's very likely that most of you probably never heard about this game, and for obvious reasons, but let's go step by step. What is Cube World? Cube World is an action RPG developed by two people and that has never seen the light of the day. To be fair, it was playable at one point in time, but then several things happened, and before going there I would like to actually explain to you what the game consisted of. So again, Cube World was nothing more than an action RPG set in an endlessly randomly generated world in which you would create your character, you would pick a class, you would pick a race, customize a little bit of your appearance, and you would just go around, visit cities, improve your equipment, fight creatures, explore dungeons and kill bosses. So why the hell am I talking to you about this game? I mean, it sounds basic, it sounds generic. Well, it was not that basic and generic, trust me. Starting from the incredibly beautiful, soft and well-placed voxel-based art style, Cube World was very enjoyable. So to be more specific, the game was fucking hard, meaning that when you spawn and you create your character, you may already encounter a group of enemies that are gonna beat you up and kill you instantly. Of course, you can respawn as many times as you want, but it's not that easy to level up, so it makes the fighting, at least in the beginning, that much better, because it may not look like it, but it's actually very fast paced, and being able to dodge through enemy hits and being able to use different types of weapon immediately as you begin your adventure, I don't know, it had a very nice appeal to me back then. But it's also not as simple as it seems. So the game, even in its early stages, had some very cool features that I've never seen in an action RPG like that. I mean, you could also say that Zelda Breath of the Wild is actually a copy-paste of Cube World, and I'm not even joking about it. I mean, what do you do in Zelda Breath of the Wild? You go around, you hunt monsters, you equip new weapons, you sit at a campfire, you cook your food, and then you climb a mountain with your stamina that depletes every once in a while. You have to stop, let your stamina go up again, and then keep climbing once again, and once you reach the peak of the mountain, jump down and glide through the horizon. Whether you believe me or not, Cube World did this in 2013. I'm not even joking, the exact same things. You could really climb any building, any mountain, any tree, anything. You could climb literally anything. You could stick your hands to the walls and just go up. Of course, you had to manage your stamina, and of course, improving your climbing skill would allow you to climb for longer distances. And then yes, hell yeah, you could actually glide through mountains and trees. You just needed enough altitude and then you could just jump and go to the horizon. But that's not it, because of course there are different biomes in this game. So there's also oceanic biomes, and you could craft your boat or buy your boat if I'm not mistaken, and actually increase your sailing skill to just, yeah, sail through the ocean and rivers and lakes. But I don't know, you don't seem that convinced. I know that you're thinking that this game is actually garbage. So let me introduce you to one of the coolest features of this game. Fighting normal enemies, facing dungeons and opening chests, fighting bosses may give you the chance to drop one of the rare food items that are not for you, but they are for animals. So every creature in the world of Cube World can actually be tamed. So every animal in the world actually has a food preference, and you need to find that food, give it to the animal, and then the animal is gonna become your pet, and you can summon him at any time. And that's not it, because once you have a pet, this pet can actually fight for you, and if you also level up the riding skill, you can actually ride your pets, and the more you level up this skill, the faster your pet is gonna be. So you actually have multiple ways to traverse the lands. And of course, your pets level up with you, they have their own stats, they become stronger, and so on and so forth. And just keep in mind, this was only an alpha, and it's not all. I still have to talk to you about the weapon crafting system. So the coolest feature of this game, in my opinion, is actually the weapon and armor crafting system. Or to be specific, you wouldn't actually craft weapons and equipment, but you could actually upgrade them. So how do you do that? Again, fighting monsters, bosses, and doing dungeons could have rewarded you with materials. And these materials are in the shape of a cube. You know, cube world, cube, yeah, you get it? And then once you got in a city, you could actually go to a blacksmith and upgrade your weapons. Now, fasten your seatbelts because this is gonna become crazy in a while. Considering that this is a voxel based game, you could actually put the cube that you found on your equipment and transform the weapon as you want. Meaning, you have a sword with a flat blade, but you have enough materials to transform it. You could actually add cubes to your sword to make it look like a katana or like a medieval sword. Or you could add spikes to your armor. There are even gloves that you can use to fight, and you can put Wolverine claws on them. And this goes to show you how crazy this could be. I remember having a boomerang when I was playing back in the days, and I filled my boomerang with blades. Of course, then every block has its own stat increase, so it depends on what you add and the material that you use, and then your weapon is gonna become stronger in that way. But isn't this such a novel concept that no one has ever done before? Then of course, depending on the class and weapon that you had, you could choose different skills. If you were a ninja, you could become invisible. Wizard, you could use fire and water tornadoes and other spells like that, and so on and so forth. So what happened to Cube World? Why isn't it around anymore? So after a while, the game was suddenly not purchasable anymore from the official website pchroma.com. But when they closed it, the developers of this game put a message that says, and I quote, "We will reopen the shop as soon as possible after the next Cube World update. Thanks for your patience," end quote. And yeah, this could actually technically still be true, because the game has never been updated since then. Despite this, whoever purchased the game before the closure of the shop was still able to play and host their own servers. In fact, I believe the game is still played nowadays in private servers, and from my understanding, people even tried to mod this game and to add their own features. I don't know how well that worked because I'm not really too deep in this community, but just FYI, the game has been playable, technically playable, up until now. And unfortunately, this is the only way I was able to actually get my hands on the game, but this was many years ago, 2014, 2015. Then why am I talking to you about this game if it's dead? Well, turns out it's actually not dead. In fact, one of the developers of the game, Wolfram, in 2016 was actually tweeting about his game, showing off new features and new things he had been working on with his wife. They've showcased new dungeons, new music, they also showcased the real quest system. But then after November 25th, 2016, they went silent once again. But in 2017, April 1st, maybe the worst day in which you could actually post something about a game because nobody is gonna believe you, Wolfram was back with new updates about his game, showcasing a 64-bit engine, new biomes, dungeon maps, improved cities, and so on and so forth. And after July 2nd, 2017, once again, Wolfram shut his doors. 2019 seems to be a great year for Cube World, because starting from January 26th, Wolfram started posting, I don't want to say regularly, but quite often on his Twitter page. The first image shared in January 2019 showcased the player riding an eagle. Apparently this is one of the new features that allows you to travel from one point, from one city to another one, so it's not actually something that you can capture and ride freely for yourself because you already have a glider for that, but this is some sort of quick travel. After January there were a few months of silence, but the community now was perfectly used to this back and forth with him. And in fact, in July, unexpectedly, he came back with even more screenshots, showing off new dungeons again, new landmarks in the map, floating isles. And then we come to today. The latest tweet from Wolfram actually brings us to a YouTube video showcasing the new title screen for the game. This is the whole reason why I wanted to make a video about Cube World in the first place, because I feel like we're reaching a point where the game is coming back. When they've showcased so much, and they've showcased the new title screen, it means that they are in such a point in their development timeline that they feel confident sharing this content with us, and I believe they feel like they are not going to disappoint us with a longer wait time. Just FYI, in 2013 the game was completely and perfectly playable. Yes, of course it was an alpha version of the game, of course it lacked a lot of features, of course there were bugs and problems and the game was very limited, but man, the game was fun in its core and it was again perfectly playable. I wouldn't want to imagine now in 2019 with the possibility of playing online with other people, because yes, this game is actually playable online, and with all the new features that they added and maybe even more things that they didn't showcase to us, I think it's time that this game hits a beta phase and opens back the door for the store page. Because the demand, it's there, people want to play this game. People would have been happy even with the 2013 version of the game. This is how ridiculous this is. And you know, I will be honest with you, when in 2015 I played the 2013 version of the game, I was actually very impressed with what I played and I didn't even consider that the game had stopped development. So today, seeing the new title screen video from Wolfram made me get chills on my skin, literal chills. And I'm really positive that Cubeboard is actually in a fully playable state. Now, of course, I don't really want to rush development, I don't want to push the developers to release something that they are not satisfied with. Because in the end, I believe this is why they actually stopped people from purchasing the game. Because I think they were not satisfied and they were not sure they could actually come through with the final product. So now, if the game had to release, let's say next month, in a beta state of course, what would I expect to see? Well, first of all, I think I would like to see an improvement in the skill tree, because the real problem that I had with the original Cubeboard is that you can level indefinitely. There's no limit to how many levels you can get, and you can set an unlimited amount of points on each and single skill that you have. What's the problem? Well, you have 3-4 skills at best. I think every class needs more variety, maybe specializations. Also, it will be interesting if you could actually gather more materials from the creatures you defeat, and maybe the crafting should be improved. It would be nice if you could actually dismantle equipments and get some upgrade materials from them. I'm really curious to see how the quest system works, because if the world is procedurally generated, even quests have to be. So I'm really curious how that will pan out. Also, clearly, I'm very curious to see how the new dungeons play out, new creatures, new bosses. This game simply had so much to offer back then, so I can't even picture what they actually put in the game now. It will be nice to have some world interactions. I've seen some screenshots of them showcasing musical instruments, so it will be cool if this actually played a role in world exploration or dungeon completion. Also, it will be actually incredible if this game came out on Steam and had full mod support. I believe the player base could actually do a great job suggesting and implementing new features that could give even incredible ideas to the developers themselves. But I would really like to know what you think about this game. Have you actually played it, and if so, what are you expecting from the future updates? Do you actually think the game will be released soon? Let me know with a comment down below, because this is gonna do it for today's video. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please click the like button, subscribe, and again, leave a comment down below. And I will see you again in the next video.